First, get your name and where you're from.
My name is Maria Agosto. I'm from Gulfport, Florida.
A-G-U-S-T-O?
A-G-O-S-T-O.
All right, thank you. Why are you here? Tell us what your sign says and why you came out here.
Well, the sign talks about lynchings and the way that they've just changed format. In my opinion, this young man was lynched with a gun instead of a tree. He was judged and he was killed because somebody decided that he looked suspicious and somebody decided that they could take the law into their own hands. There is no justice in this system. It angers me to think that we say we have a true democracy in our country when a whole group of people have been isolated and they are in fear of their lives. Every 28 hours, a young black person is killed in this country. And it's intolerable to me to live in a nation that talks about freedom for all when just because you're black, you're afraid to walk on the streets. It shouldn't be criminalized. And I also work with a group called Move to Amend. We are trying to go at this from the legislative side. Recently there was a decision called Citizens United where the courts equated money with speech. A lot of people don't know this, but corporations have the same constitutional rights that human beings have. In fact, they had human rights before blacks did, before women did. So we understand that there's something essentially wrong in a country that calls itself a democracy, where corporations, which are not about human beings, they're about money. These are people-created entities, they're artificial entities, actually have more rights and more power than human beings do. We're also aware, though, that even if we got something like this passed, it's useless if we don't have a true democracy in our country. And that's about enfranchisement. We understand that blacks, women, there are entire groups of people that have been marginalized and oppressed. And that continues to be the case today. And Trayvon Martin is just a glaring example of that. So, we do what we can to support our local communities, and we work on the national level to deal with some of these issues and let people know that we won't stand by. And as an individual, as an American citizen, I can't stand by and watch this kind of injustice.
Why do you think that what you're saying didn't resonate with the 6 jurors? What is it that could have made them come to that decision?
That's difficult to say. I cannot speak for those women, but I do know that there's a narrative about young black men that says that they are thugs, that they have no intention but criminal intention, and particularly I think for white women, when you look historically at this nation, there's been this constant kind of narrative about white women being afraid of black men, and it's very easy to not even really think about it consciously, but to have that fear. I truly think that this was a racist decision. I think it was a fear-based decision. And unless the United States tackles these issues, we're never going to have a real democracy.
Do you have any opinion about whether gun violence in general had something to do with this case, and if so, what could be done about it?
Well, it's obvious that this is very problematic because Zimmerman was asked by his neighborhood association not to carry a gun. He was advised, not told, because 9/11 can't tell you not to do something, but the 911 dispatcher did advise him not to get out of the car. But he had a vigilante attitude, and there was plenty of proof of that. This whole idea of stand your ground, which is what Zimmerman was initially arguing, it's not being applied the same way. And I wish that I could remember her name, but there was a black woman, a mother, who had a restraining order on her husband because he had been beating her. She shot a warning shot. She didn't even injure this man, and she got 20 years in prison here in Florida. So one young man is killed Another woman doesn't even cause any injury, and you see the discrepancy in the decisions. I'm not a lawyer, so it's difficult for me to get into the legalities of the case, but it's easy to see that there's something wrong, that we've become hyper militarized as a nation, and that violence seems to be the go-to answer for everything. And again, you have to take a historical look at this, because our nation was founded in violence. It glorifies violence. Whenever there's conflict, that is the go-to answer. And Zimmerman is he's a product of our national story of self. That's who we think we are. We think we're number one, we're the tough guys. You know, our president, our ex-president Bush, bring them on. That's no attitude, especially today. We need to find new solutions and different solutions, and guns are not it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.